What's up, guys? It's John with National Sports Entertainment, and I want to go into tomorrow's slate of games. Today we were doing well. We had a chance of going 6-0, but the basketball gods convened and they said, "What? National Sports Entertainment might be going 6-0. Let's go ahead and have the Sixers do a nice little comeback." But like I said, there's days we go 1-5. There's days we go like today 5-1. For me, all that matters is, the system works. If it's your first time watching my channel or your 126th, this might, I think my 126th video in this playlist alone. I must be over 300 videos in general we've done, but if you're including the old channel. But really with all these picks, I was just going into the spreads and I was also going into the playoff ramifications. I looked at the schedules of the teams to see who has a schedule that makes sense that they could lose a couple games. Other teams, it doesn't make sense that they would lose a couple games. So, again, it doesn't always work, but we had a good night. I always like to recap our nights, if you know. Again, 1 unit, 2 units, 4 units. If we miss on the third leg, which is the 4th unit, we close. I think we have 5 or 6 straight leg 3 victories. We haven't lost one in a while. The last one was Tulsa, and they played on the 28th, and probably just because they haven't played since then, here it was covering USF, is the only reason we haven't had a leg 3 loss, but we've closed every leg 3, and there's a reason we have been. It's because it's not like I have certain games that I like more than others, but there are certain metrics that will present themselves that I just think are better than others. Like the Raptors, if I had all the basketball games, that was my favorite. College, Loyola, I had noticed all year they've been kind of doing this when they get 3-4 points. So we did good on those. We closed about half our leg 2s, which is usually what we do. We did miss on UAB. We had LSU for a money line. But all in all, we closed 10 more sequences. And again, if we had lost a 3-legger like Loyola Chicago, that's a 7-unit loss. That's still a profit. So that's the reason I stick to the system. It's boring, I get it, but it works. So for tomorrow, we do have leg 3s. We have a lot of leg 2s. And I'll go into hockey, but I'm going to hit the NBA now because as for hockey, we did good today. We went 2-1. But for hockey, we got a 3 o'clock game that I was thinking about playing it. Even if I do play it, I'll have it out in time. But really, I was looking more at the Flyers, like the Avalanche. Those two teams have a spread record that's pretty interesting. So I didn't see anything that jumped out to me for hockey. As far as, actually, let me check something real quick while I'm at it. Just because I think I might be, okay. So the Hurricanes are pretty bad against the spread. As you can see, 26-34, but nothing astronomical. So I just wanted to check that because I thought if I went over that just in case they were terrible against the spread, I'd get that in this video. So yeah, I thought so. We could play them against the spread, but I'm not going to. I just don't think it's worth it. They're not like 30% against the spread. They're in like the 40s. So those numbers really do matter at the end of the year. Now, the reason we got the Heat tonight, I picked them because they were 36% against the spread. And a team that's not much better is the Dallas Mavericks, okay? Just to show you real quick, the Dallas Mavericks are right now at 37%. And I'm not saying it can't happen. We saw it happen with Tulsa. But if you look at the just historical, that's basically the bottom point, okay? Meaning them to continue losing at this pace, they'd be defying years and years of history. And you can see, usually it's around 40. Right now, we got 2-3 teams around 37%, under 40%. So that's another reason I like both of these teams. And that's the reason I took Houston tonight. Now, you can see San Antonio and them are a lot closer after that game. But as far as Miami, Dallas, that's the reason I play them shamelessly. It's because I really do think that they are good teams to play. So anyway, Mavericks I like a lot. I'm going to take them to cover the Suns, and they're going to start some playoff type narratives, as you can probably imagine. Kyrie and Kevin Durant, and you got Luka revenge and all of that. Next one, surprisingly, I like the Bulls to cover. I think they're going to establish themselves as a 9-10, whereas the Pacers and Magic and Raptors are going to be fighting in. I could be wrong, but I think the Bulls are just going to be a little bit ahead of the Pacers Magic. Maybe not Raptors, but definitely ahead of the Pacers Magic. Pacers Magic will be duking it out at the end, I believe. But I do like the Bulls here to cover. I think 6.5 is a little heavy. I think it should be like 4.5. I know it sounds like not a lot, but when Vegas sets a certain line, it's usually for a reason. I think more people will be on the Pacers here for the upset value and with the points. So I like the Bulls cover, and I like the Lakers cover. Again, they win games they shouldn't. They lose games that they shouldn't. And I've been saying this for a while. I didn't know how they were going to get there, but I knew for a fact the Warriors were going to get to 34 and 31. And I noticed, conversely, that would make the Lakers 31 and 34. So while I don't heavily rely on gematria and numbers, I do use it with the Warriors because on my old channel, my first ever video, this is back in June on my old channel, almost a year ago. My first ever video is why the Warriors won and why the number 314 is so prevalent. It's everywhere with these guys. So to me, it just makes sense. Besides the fact that the Lakers, they have to win games, lose certain games to A, make sure they're not just paying the public, but B, they have to be fighting for a playoff spot. So I like the Lakers here. I'll take the cover, though, because I'll take the points. Hornets, Nets, I like the Hornets. I think 7.5. Nets after just coming back against the Celtics. They've looked strong. I don't know why they're only getting 7.5. I could see this one being maybe our upset game, but again, I'll take the points. I like the Hornets here with the points. This one, I'll be honest. I had to fight my my inner bias and try and find a good reason to take the Blazers, and I couldn't find one. I really couldn't. I tried to say, okay, well, they're missing all their starters. It's just really Dame, and Dame is better than everyone on the Magic. So I really couldn't come up with a reason that this is only 1.5. The Blazers have been playing bad. They can't do anything against the big man like Bol or Wendell Carter, or Paolo Banchero. But he's not really a big man. But my point is, theoretically, actually, this is a game that would favor the Magic. But I thought, okay, everyone's going to be fading the Blazers. That's what I was my bias was thinking, like, okay, just Dame. But then I thought about it and said, there's no way. There's no way that people are taking the Magic over the Blazers. So even though you know how I feel about the Blazers, I think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to make a run. I'm not going to pick on, ego or just double down on a pick. If I see a weird line, I'm taking it. So I like the Magic here, -1.5. I think it should be Blazers -3. Like, that should be the line. So this line, I don't see defending this line with how good the Blazers have looked, even without some of their stars. Spurs, Rockets. I was thinking about taking the Rockets to double down. I'm going to go with the Spurs. I think you're going to mix it up. These teams suck. Let each team show off a couple stars, get a couple wins. Pops on a pretty bad rut. One win in the last, 20-something games. So I think they give it to the Spurs. I'll take the Spurs to cover. This one I really like. I like the Thunder to win. Of course, does that mean they cover? Well, I'm going to take them to cover because our odds are obviously better if they win. So Jazz win, puts the Thunder a little behind, especially because I have the Lakers winning. And I think they want all these teams to be really close. As you can see, they're all right within a game and a half. They've been pushing this narrative since the beginning of the season, talking about how, wow, the team in 15th place, now this was a while back, is only 5 games out from the playing team. And now even the 13th place team is only a few games out. So I do think here in this game, the Thunder need to win. The Blazers, like I said, doesn't mean they all have to win. That's why I'm trying to book it almost like wrestling, because I think they're not going to have every certain team win. That's why I have Bulls winning, even though you think, oh, well, the Pacers winning ties them up. That's not, we're still plenty of games to go. So I'm really long-term booking this, and that's what's been working out. So, yeah, Thunder, I like to win. I'll take them to cover. Boston, I think they rebound. I think they win, they cover, and I think they look strong. This could be it's ESPN, so of course you want to make it look pretty close. But I think they want to establish Boston as better than Milwaukee and better than Philly as far as the team in the East. Just my opinion for Bill Russell. Bucks, Wizards, I like the Bucks. Not just because the Wizards are one game ahead of of, the Bulls and Pacers. It's more the fact that there are several games up on the Magic, and also the fact that the Bucks are going to bounce back. And just like you can see it's happening in the West, they're doing it in the East here, where I think they're going to have as many teams as possible within a couple games of each other. So I'll take the Bucks here. I don't know the cover yet, but I don't really care. It's probably, I'm imagining it's going to be around 6 to 8 points, unless something weird happens. They might rule out Giannis, but either way, like I said, I'll take Milwaukee to cover. If something drastic changes, of course, I'll put a video out. Here, I like the Grizzlies to cover because it was brought up in my Discord by somebody. You're missing half your starting lineup. Okay, you're missing Brooks, your heart and soul. You're missing Ja, your playmaker, and you're missing Steven Adams, who's your IQ role player. And the Clippers have everybody. So I think this is a game where they just kind of give Kawhi and Paul George limited minutes. They give Russ a lot of minutes, and probably if they win, I don't think they win by 7. So a good point by it was brought up in my Discord, and I agree. So I do like the Grizzlies there for the cover. It was like when they played the Warriors back in the playoffs, if you guys remember that, when they accidentally revealed, hey, it's now 3-2, even though it was only 3-1 at the time. Grizzlies beat the Warriors by 35 later that night, and they had no Ja. So they might not have had Bane either. I can't even remember. But either way, I think they had Bane, but they were missing Ja and maybe Brooks. There's no reason they should have won. They did. I think it's going to happen here at the Clippers. It'll show that the Grizzlies are a, quote, deep team, and it's more about the culture than any one player. And maybe it's kind of punishing Ja, showing they don't really need him because obviously he's in some hot water. So those are our picks, and then as I do every night, not to be redundant, but I literally tell people all you got to do is copy and paste, and you're literally where I'm at right now, and the people that have copy and pasted are doing the best. So that's why I do it this way, so people can see exactly my picks. UCF covers ECU. I didn't go into those college games. The reason I like that as a leg 3 is because UCF is giving 10.5 points, and it might move it half a point or so, but my point is they're pretty evenly matched, and I just think a lot of people are going to be on East Carolina to cover that spread. So I just think there's something that they're not telling us there. So I do like UCF to cover that spread, and also UCF's not so great against the spread. Eastern Carolina is good against the spread, so that's another reason that I like that. The only other ones I like for college are I like the USF Wichita State game to go under, and I like Penn State to cover Maryland. Penn State covering Maryland is because it just was a weird line that I saw. It kind of reminded me of UCF. And USF Wichita under. USF's gone over a lot, so is Wichita. So nothing crazy. They're both leg 1s. But I just wanted to hit the college real quick. I figured it's stupid to make a separate video for 3 picks. So anyway, now Mavs cover Suns. I got that as a leg 3 as well because of the metric. Very bad against the spread. And more people are inclined to fade them when that's the case. KD's looked good. And I think it's just a playoff preview match. So it's, it is a close one for a leg 3. But because of the against the spread metric, I don't think the Mavs continue this bad against the spread. I like it. Then we got Bulls, Pacers. Like I said, I think the Bulls cover the Pacers. That's just a leg 1. This just means to be determined. Obviously, we don't know if we're going to win or lose yet. But yeah, I think Bulls will cover that. I think they win and cover. And yeah, Magic almost made it a leg 2. But every time I've made it like a leg 2 or leg 3 and I faded my preseason pick, the Blazers, as far as preseason pick, I mean my sleeper team, as far as I think they're going to make the playoffs and make a run. So every time I faded them, they've made me pay. So maybe it's a little superstitious, but instead of making it a leg 2, leg 3, because it is an appealing line, I'm just going to do a leg 1. Lakers cover Warriors, however, I do like as a leg 2. Fun fact, there is one team that has paid us out better than any team this year as far as the NBA, and it is the Los Angeles Lakers. I think we're at something like a 23-plus net profit from them, meaning, I went through about 4 teams so far. Blazers were in the net negative. Bulls were in the net positive. And I looked at the Lakers, and they were quite ahead of some other teams. So if you look back at the playlist, all of our Laker picks, whether we faded them or taken them, they've been our best team this year. So it's funny I clown them and clown LeBron, and I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but they've paid me the most. So, newer people that will come in and be like, oh, you just hate the Lakers and stuff. No, they're paying me more than anybody. I just honestly think they're one of the more obvious teams to guess. But I'm going to go over exactly. It's going to take me a long time to do, but the autism makes me want to do it. Every single team and exactly how we've done with those teams. So that leaves Hornets to cover the Nets here, and again, a leg one. Nothing crazy. I just like playing a whole slate. I'll tell you why I like playing a whole slate. If you look at a whole slate, you'll usually see a split between favorites and underdogs covering the spread, home team and away team covering the spread, team coming off a loss, team coming off a win cover. You'll see splits. You're not going to see a 100% split typically outside of a 3-4 game schedule. So when we have an 11-game schedule, I try and get it where I get about 7-4, 6-5, 7 home, 6, 5 away. You know what I'm saying? Six favorites, 4 underdogs. So to cover, I mean, because that's just how it always seems to sway. For example, 2 nights in a row now, I had like something like, we'll say 7 home teams and 2 away teams. So I made a change to make it 6-3, and that's why I went with the Raptors. I went over in my last video. I made them a leg 3 over the Wizards for that, and that was part of the reason. And the night before, I was going to go with the Celtics to cover the Nets, but I had so many home teams, I switched it to the Nets. So that's part of the reason also. Someone asked me earlier today how what do I use more when making my picks. It's really not any one thing. There's so many things I take into account. And then even after I make my picks, I look at them to make sure they make sense. They're logical picks. So just to let you guys know, I don't like to belabor any points, but I like people to know. Spurs cover Rockets. I like here that as a leg 1. Nothing crazy. Like I said, I think they just trade back and forth. And then we got Thunder cover Jazz. I like this one a lot. Like I said, definitely like the win, but I think they can cover too. So we'll plug that in for leg 2 for our Flames loss. And again, just copy and pasting, and you're over. I'm at like 115 units right now. I'm going to do an exact count tonight, or I'm going to do the team's analytics tonight and then do that. But just for people that, it's your first or second video, just by watching a few people put it in the comments, like that have been watching, they'll say, just watch 2 or 3, any random at any point in the playlist, and then you'll kind of have an idea of why we're doing so well. So, not to brag, I like to cover everything in one video, and while the reason I'm showing you this is because this is what I've done from the very beginning. Whether you've seen my channel from the beginning or not, this is what we do. We predict it beforehand, and now we've profited over 100 units, which nobody can claim. No other channel can claim if you followed this, you would have profited. Outside of after the fact, they'll tell you who they thought would have won. So it's cool that, people are doing well. Not to get off tangent, I just wanted to explain why I'm so methodical about this. So now we got Celtics cover Knicks. Like I said, I think that's a good one. Keep it as leg 1 though. We don't need too many leg 2s and leg 3s going. And Bucks cover Wizards leg 1. Nothing crazy there. And our last leg 2 here. And I went over why I liked this one more, just because I don't think the line makes sense. We're going to have the Grizz covering the Clippers. Are we going to close every one of these? It'd be nice. But no. We might even lose a couple leg 3s. Like I said, we have not lost a leg 3 in a while. Our leg 3 is 7 units lost, and we've closed over 25 sequences just in the last 3 days. So, again, it's always about value, money management, metrics, discipline, and understanding over time we're going to win way more than 7 units, 7 sequences for every 3-leg loss. As you can see, this is 134. Now, this is notwithstanding open sequences. That's why I said it's right around 115. But the 134 is like, you see how we have some here where I lost a leg 1, we didn't plug in a leg 2. Obviously, that's a unit, negative unit. So we're anywhere between negative 115 and 134, depending on who's followed each and every pick. But again, I try and show this because a lot of times people don't get to see it, and then I have to go over it separately. One other thing I wanted to add is the Panthers. Now we just started hockey not that long ago. The Panthers added another plus victory. We got them as a leg 1. I almost made them a leg 2, but them to cover the Penguins. 171, I liked the odds. As you can see, I haven't taken any of like plus 300 because it's rare they're going to pay that out in hockey. But the mid 150, 160 range looks like the sweet spot. So that's also what I look at with hockey metrics. So this is kind of a video where I was trying to hit everything in one. You got the all NBA and college plays for tomorrow. I'll hit hockey if I see them. Like I said, I looked at the one hockey game, and I think it does have some value. The Lightning Hurricanes game here. Hurricanes are bad against the spread. So, like I said at the beginning of the video, I really wasn't sure. But here's the thing, just so I don't have to make a video, okay? In case I'm gonna play him, okay? So it's at 155. So for Hurricanes to cover the Lightning, that was it, right? Lightning. Let's make sure. And actually, I have a better way of checking this. Just so people can see the exact number that we'll be getting, because it's it could change, like I said, but it should be pretty close. I like people to see exactly the odds and what they're going to be. So here we have 168. Okay, that's the number. That's the number my book's offering. So I'm going to go ahead and make that a leg 1 for 168. Because at the beginning of the video, I do all these live. If you can't tell, I don't edit crap out. So beginning of the video, I wasn't sure. By the end of the video, I am sure. So there we go. 168 doesn't hurt as a leg 1. Hurricanes, not great on this. Again, I know it's nothing crazy. They're only like 26 and 34. But I just think people are more inclined to not take a team that's not doing well against the spread. So right now, I have a good bit in play, as you can see. So we'll have to go, and see how the 1 o'clocks go, how the early games go, and we can always add more. But for now, I just wanted to go into all of the games that we're playing, and I did want to get that Hurricanes Lightning in there just because. And again, I have a couple books, so it might change. You might be getting 170, like on Bovada, I might be getting 175, on Sportsbook 160. Your books might be off a little bit from my exact number. I just wanted to show you about the number that it's going to be giving. And basically, if you see a line on ESPN minus 155, to get the plus odds, it's basically just you add the juice. So it'd be like 111 points. I know it's a little confusing, but it's usually about the absolute value is the same. So they're minus 155, sacrificing the goal, they're about plus 160. So that's another way you can do it. But I wanted you guys to see the exact number. Like I say, I like to be as transparent as possible. So that's my the most stingy book. I use that one the least. That's why I use that one as an example, because most odds are going to be higher than the 168. They're probably going to be closer to like 175. But that my for some reason sportsbetting.ag is really stingy. That's why I've been using more of Bovada. But both of them, like I said, pretty similar odds, but you might get a little better on Bovada. But I don't think they weren't showing me spread lines when I was trying to lock. So I just went to Sportsbook to get the spread. And it might change by the morning. It might move better or worse. My overall point here is just not sleeping on value. Here we are getting, here's 9 games where we got plus 120 or better. So it's not a sequence anymore. Now we're averaging a unit and a quarter a sequence, a unit and a half a sequence. It just makes it so much better. So I know I probably bored half you guys, but again, if I could watch paint dry and get paid to do it, I'll do it. And in this case, that's kind of what my videos are. I'm going over boring numbers. I'm just showing you guys the same old stuff. But at the same time, sports is always moving. So we're going to have new plays every single day. and I try and go more into where my rationale is for people that are more interested in, instead of me just running through the picks. There are people that want to know why I make certain picks. The value of the plus 168 that people, that's nothing. Yes, it is something, okay? When you're playing thousands of plays, plus 125 is a luxury. So, yeah, it's going to be fun going into baseball season. But yeah, please let me know if you want me to go into anything else. Like I said, I won't forget. And if we have any more hockey plays. But I wanted to get the Hurricanes in there just because I'm going to lock it. And like I said, literally every single one I am going to lock or that I did lock is the one I put in here. I would never make a suggestion that I don't play myself. And if I'm going to play it myself, if I'm going to, I always like to try and get it out there if I can. So since I'm going to, I'm not going to wait. And then if I oversleep tomorrow or something, you guys miss out on a possible good pick. I know it's just one, but I literally like to have every single pick that I make, and I like to get that out there for you guys, just because, again, it's cool to say find a channel that can make the same claim as far as proven results, and it's reciprocated. You guys are great to me. Discord's great. Everything's great. So I'm not saying this in a braggadocious or condescending way. I'm saying it in a just chip on my shoulder because we were shut down because of how good we were doing, and we're fighting back. And you see how easy it was for us to get 100 units. We're going to get the 200 units, and I thank everybody that's listened to this entire thing because I can tell that you are really supportive. So take care, everybody, and happy earnings.